welcome to Sound Clash. Yeah, this is Study Songs. Thank you, Dr. Lowe and Charlie, for joining us. So let's just dive in. So, Dr. Lowe, you want to go first?
Sure. As I like to do, I've got my vinyl records. This is a band called North Americans.
Okay.
And they are, I listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of classical,
Sure.
as study music, but this is a genre that's kind of new to me. I think it's called ambient country.
Okay.
It's a guitarist and a pedal steel, and that's the only two instruments that are in it. And so American primitive guitar, I think, is kind of the genesis of this, but it's like just the most peaceful. You can tell from the covers that these guys are into like pastel colors and other things. So let's do the track "Rivers That You Cannot See." I think that is probably the most.
And this is all instrumental.
All instrumental, no vocals, which I need when I'm doing.
That's me too. That's like one. Is that going to be true of everybody?
I think so.
We should discuss that. But anyway. It is very mellow. So that was a lap steel in there, or that was
pedal steel.
Oh, and not a horn.
Nope.
It sounded so.
Yeah, I don't know what they do for like effects, but I think
Yeah.
it's pretty plays it pretty straight. So.
Huh.
So pedal steel, is that like a take on the lap steel? Is that similar or?
So
It's
lap
bigger,
steel is
yeah.
like an actual.
You set it on your lap, right?
Right, and it's more of an actual like 6-string, right? Whereas pedal steel is its own. It's like a
huge.
rectangle, and it's got like almost like a piano, like the foot pedals. And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
Buck Owens played. In fact, the one Buck Owens played apparently was at the guitar store on Farnham Street.
A ground floor?
Yeah, ground floor had.
Really?
Yeah, they had a floor, a pedal. What'd you call it? A floor pedal, a pedal steel.
pedal steel.
Pedal steel.
is the
Yeah,
is the instrument.
it's huge. They're huge.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like the roadie work involved in
Right. Yeah.
on a tour. I like that very nicely.
Yeah. It just play. I mean, it puts you in a you're grading student papers or something.
Well, that's funny. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I just accepted 13 short
and it
stories.
puts you in a nice mindset to encounter those.
And the country, like, did you call it country or was
So
it
ambient country. People get genres.
Yeah, I know they do. Probably.
So it's pitchfork, whatever.
Yeah,
So
Pitchfork.
but yeah, ambient country is the.
I could buy that as a label for this. Yes. You guys, is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
But American primitive is the guitar style, which is just the instrumental, and then you throw the pedal steel in there though. And,
Fascinating.
I've
You know
gotten
what?
more into as I get older. I've gotten more into ambient. I think ambient.
Well,
is a genre.
Yeah, there's Hearts of Space that you can listen to on Sunday.
Anyway, that's
Great. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I can definitely focus to that. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
found myself focusing when it was played.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
just
Same.
thinking
Just
about like,
picturing, like-
yeah,
Yeah.
The essay.
it's something I would
Yeah.
legitimately use
Yeah.
to listen
While
to.
writing. While
Yes.
writing.
Yeah, writing is
Because I don't listen while I write at all to
Oh, really?
anything. But when I read student papers and have to respond with the heart of Jesus, I listen to. I'm curious about why we don't want words.
Yeah,
Is
I
it-
don't know. I mean, there's sometimes like if I'm doing something that's just kind of true, like
You
just
can have
practice,
words.
I can have words. But if I'm like writing something, there's even with instrumental, there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, get this off, and then I'm like, need like
10 seconds where I just focus.
So I really like the Icelandic band Sigur Rós, which sings in not even just Icelandic, but made up Icelandic. So, like invented Icelandic. I can listen to that, because it's not,
You don't rap.
right, so I think
Yeah.
if it's not language I understand, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
kinda-
gonna be thinking about this too. I knew it to be true. You can't have words, but I didn't realize it was kind of universal.
Yeah.
I kind of do something similar. I listen to a lot of Brazilian bossa novas when I study.
Oh, yeah.
Similar
okay.
because I like the lyrical aspects of songs, but it helps me. It's kind of distracting if it's in English and I can understand the words, but
Yeah.
obviously if it's in Portuguese, then I can't like understand it, but I can still appreciate like the lyrics that they're trying
And
to
maybe
convey.
sublimating some Portuguese. Like,
Yeah.
you might go
Yeah.
to Portugal.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Portuguese is hard, and this Brazilian bossa nova is really growing in popularity. I
Yeah.
understand. Huh?
Yeah.
Who knew? Oh, you know what? So what I brought, I wish I could have probably brought in the Ted Nugent one, but I thought that he's got an instrumental called Homeward Bound but it's not really what I was. And then I thought about Mogwai, which I generally do listen to when I'm grading papers. But Dr. Lowe recently turned me on to my new go-to, which is going to be Miles Davis's A Kind of Blue.
Oh,
And
I
just
love
the
that
opening
one.
tune, yeah,
That's
right?
a-
I mean, I'm kind of new to the jazz game, but I gotta say, I heard this just a couple weeks ago and was like, dang, I get it. So if you play a little of that.
Which song?
What's the opening tune?
So what?
And I realize that among like jazz aficionados, that's sort of saccharine, sort of low-hanging fruit, right? But God, man, and I listened to his a subsequent album, Cool, Book of Cool, way busier. Way, I mean,
Well, yeah, that's what I meant, like, so the one I know, like Bitches Brew, like
Yeah.
that, like, is nothing like Kind of Blue, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, if this is your introduction to Miles Davis, and then you listen to, like, it's a total.
Yeah, and so, and you guys already sort of agreed that this is like you all. I'm just impressed that you were that far into
Who's
jazz.
the bassist on that album? Because that's
Ron Carter, I think.
that sounds so like that's a good speaker. Like it. Like,
That is a good
Yeah.
speaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really catch the bass. And Cannibal Adderley plays on it too, right?
Yeah.
And so, as background music goes for reading student papers, is usually what it would be for me.
Right.
It lives just on the, you find the melody eventually, right? But it kind of teases you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't require, although I guess it does. I hear the melody and then I'm like conscious of it, right?
Right.
Um,
You ever go to 13th Street Coffee Shop down in?
I have been there, yeah.
I think that's the first place I heard that.
Oh, is that right? That'd be a
Yeah.
great place to
Yeah,
hear it.
I was reading like Foucault or something. These things go together.
So, yeah, this question of study music really did open up the big can of worms. Like, you can pull from any genre. This is
Yeah.
not a
Right.
rock and roll question.
Right.
In fact, it's almost way not a rock and roll question.
Yeah. Well, I'm still not 100% sure about anything, but
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
a difficult question.
There's this. These guys know there's this guy. He's a kind of keywordist from LA called Jeff Warber. He's,
Oh, yeah.
he's kind of probably my biggest influence. I think people call it smooth jazz, but I don't know that that's really a good descriptor for it, because I think people think smooth jazz like kind of like boring, like not much there. But I really like this guy. So he writes a lot of the music, or he wrote a lot of music for like the Weather Channel back in the day.
Oh, really?
Like 80s and 90s. So this song's called Gigabyte.
Wait, the actual Weather Channel,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
station?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're seeing a
That's-
graphic and
oh,
playing
that's
music.
awesome.
Yeah. I hear the other too, man.
Oh, that's nice.
That's smooth, it
Yeah.
is, right? And you can, I'm just curious about you in particular, being a pianist, right? And listening to a piano player who you admire, and,
Right.
that isn't a difficulty to you when you're studying?
I mean, sometimes. I mean, it kind of depends. Sometimes he really gets going. It's actually kind of interesting.
So is this, would you call that mid-tempo or up-tempo?
That's kind of up tempo. He has some that like put me to sleep.
Could-
Like,
Huh.
Because like obviously this is like
Right.
low tempo, right? I feel like tempo isn't nothing like
Yeah.
words in a, like if I'm doing work. I need it to like
Right.
come down a bit. I mean, I like that a lot. And-
Right,
Right.
funny you say that, because I
Right.
felt the same, like, this is too busy for me, like, too
Right.
frenetic,
you know, I feel like I
to
used
study on.
a lot of time put on that like lo-fi stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like that's fine. Like you don't even think about it. But, like sometimes when I need some like motivation,
Sure.
put that.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not stressed, then I'm putting that on. If I'm stressed, like probably putting something more intense than that on.
Okay.
To be
I
honest.
feel like
More
during
intense.
Yeah.
finals week, when there's so many people that are kind of burnt out, unmotivated,
Yeah.
you almost need something upbeat and up tempo
Right,
like that to
yeah.
kind of
Right.
motivate you.
Right.
Do you know Jeff,
Jeff Warburg.
Yeah, did he do all the instruments too, or?
No,
Okay.
he plays piano and then,
Alright.
like a little bit of guitar, with like mostly piano.
Yeah, very pleasant, and totally weather channeling.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear that.
Yeah, I've been into this like '80s like Miami. Like, I don't know.
Well,
how I feel.
didn't it start off with that funky? I mean, you have some funk in you that I'm trying to like track the source of, but there was that guitar. I don't know how you describe that guitar note, that '70s.
Yeah.
That's why I chuckled, because it was just like instantly took me back
Right.
decades.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
I like it.
So I mean, I hate to dwell. You have studied.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This is like I was listening to it in English like when I was revising the paper. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just bring this.
Okay, I guess I can go. So what I tend to listen to is more like, I can't have like I can't listen to probably like blistering fast jazz solo where it's just like
Yeah.
crazy like Charlie Parker sort of
Coltrane.
stuff. Yeah, not kind of stuff like that. But something similar is this artist called Yusuf Days that I like, and this song is forgive me. How do you say the name of like the capital of Ukraine? I always forget. There's like two ways. Kiev or like Kiev. I heard.
Well, it used to be
both.
Chicken Kiev, right? Back in the day.
It's called
That's
the Kiev by Yusuf Days.
Yusuf with a Y.
Yeah, Yussef. This guy's fantastic.
Yusuf Days.
What's
Yeah.
his country of origin?
I'm not
Okay, you don't have
100%
to know.
sure, but yeah, I'll tell you more about
I'll try to
it
find
after.
it.
But it should be like this.
Okay.
This. Tom Mission.
Oh,
Yusuf
Kiev.
Days.
Oh, I saw
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
KYI.
KYI. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Here. Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
that's
nice.
sort of,
It
that's
is
sort of
nice.
the vibe, the whole song.
And what is his primary instrument?
The drums. He's the drummer.
Okay, so
Yusuf
because
is
the
drummer.
opening
Yeah.
is like harmonic chords on bass.
Yeah,
right? Like
So I'm not sure if Tom Misch is playing the, because he usually Tom Misch is like a British, like he is almost like a producer slash guitarist guy.
Okay.
He sings too, but he
Okay.
plays guitar usually.
okay.
I'm not sure who's playing bass on this, but anyway, that's sort of the vibe that I like. Not too much like going on other than the drums. It's not like there's not like super crazy solo stuff
Right.
going on, but it's sort of a low volume. I can just sit down
Yeah.
and appreciate it while focusing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What era? Like when would you date that?
Like when did it come out?
Yeah.
Or this came probably just a few years ago.
Oh,
I think
okay.
like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
So the title track that we were listening to is
Yeah.
referencing the invasion of Ukraine.
It was actually it was before I think. Can you what is it?
2020?
Oh, so it's a little before that.
Yeah, it was. Actually that song is all improvised,
Okay.
and they recorded it, and they went to Ukraine to film, like obviously prior to the invasion, to film videos for an album that they had, and I guess they had like extra film that they had, so they tied it with this song, and they just named it after the city that they
Okay.
were in. Yeah.
That's great. I like
Yeah, it is. I liked it too. It is improv. That's funny that it's improv because what I liked was there was an emerging pattern.
Right.
I mean, it looked
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit different here, like I always do. There's this one guy, his name's Tame Impala, and he does all his own stuff. Like when he records, you look like you're familiar with
Yeah, I know
him.
Tame Impala.
Yeah. One of my favorite albums is Currents. I'm debating between two songs. Do you know when the guitar solo is on
I
Let's
don't
End It
know.
Better? Shoot. That part's really good. Or not let it happen.
The other one, yeah.
Oh, it's like when the guitar like the really crunchy like
Yeah.
it's like
It's
a
later
little.
in
It's
the
towards
song.
the end of
Okay.
the song.
Should I just like try to find
Just
it?
try to
Yeah,
find
it's
it.
yeah.
Got this on vinyl.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. The rest of the song is okay. More, I think.
It's like,
That's more to me like nice day out, windows down in the car,
I
and
agree.
got the speaker. I mean, it's really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's the tempo again is more. I can feel myself like I hit like my 15th comma splice in a paper. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Right, I know.
Okay.
but it's really good. Like
well,
it's a great
and
song.
you're talking about the mumbled lyrics or the ambiguous lyrics or whatever, buried lyrics. And I've just revisited REM's Murmur this week.
Sure.
Speaking of
Yeah.
lyrics that you
Right.
can't, and that would make me crazy. Hearing somebody sort of some buried lyrics would be the
Yeah.
kind
REM
of
is not studying music.
That's too
Yeah, no.
euphoric, I feel like. to
But you
study
like the
to.
guitar solo specifically. like
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Fire.
What's that effect? Like an
This guy,
army
like,
effect
he'll
or-
like, I watch a lot of like videos of like music production stuff online, and this guy, like, he has this huge house, and he just like will run like solder together speakers and stuff, and
Huh.
like he's just is that guy. 'Cause, I mean, it's hard to recreate any of the stuff he does. I feel like. 'Cause-
Oh wow.
But how does that like? What's the focus? Like if you're doing
I don't
something.
know. I just when I listen to it, I focus better.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, someone who's just you really like the music and like that's enough
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Charlie, you got something?
Yeah, I'd go to Stan Getz, his
Oh yeah.
Blue album. Any of the songs off that I love.
Okay.
And you study to this?
Yes. Almost exclusively.
I mean,
Really?
that's
I
got
can't
some
wait.
like he's got some bossa nova stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, okay.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
in that.
Blue album.
Yeah.
And with the Gilberto,
Yes.
yeah.
Like the blue. Is it just called the Blue album, or is it like the cover's blue?
The covers, or the orange one. Either.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, yeah.
that
This is the one
one's-
I know.
That was great.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Só danço samba, vai, 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 vai. Só danço samba, vai. Só danço samba, vai, 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 vai. Só danço samba, vai. Já dancei o twist até demais. Mas não sei, me cansei do calypso ao tchá-tchá-tchá. Só danço samba, vai, 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 vai. Só danço samba, vai.
And there he is.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was
What
Is he your
what,
favorite saxophonist?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
what era is that album? Is that a recent?
I think it's,
Early 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
That was beautiful.
64. Oh, okay.
Really made me long for a cigar and a bottle of rum.
I was gonna say, like, we kind of pump that like when we have friends over, like on a summer day, like
Yeah.
because I have that on vinyl.
That's a great
too.
vibe.
yeah.
That's a great vibe for it.
Um,
Yeah.
But
I'm
also,
gonna try it.
like you said, that school you went to in Atlanta where they would play
Yeah.
music, like
Yeah.
just pump that in like all day, like,
Yeah.
and everyone would just be in a better mood. Like it's just is so like.
You're right.
such a-
That was great. And that is Brazilian bossa nova by definition, or just bossa nova, or
I think it's Brazilian bossa nova. I'm not entirely sure.
okay. I'm just here to learn. This is great. Good episode.
All right.
Yeah, this has been
Thank you for
great.
watching.
Um,
Yes.